Good afternoon. I'm Professor Luis Soldavila, and I would like to welcome you to the EAE Entrepreneur Experience, a program that addresses all aspects of entrepreneurship. I will take this opportunity to extend a cordial greeting to all those who are joining us for the first time, and especially those who are seeing this session from different parts of the world. As you know, EAE Entrepreneur Series is an initiative promoted by EAE alumni, a project that the school that offers 5 large areas of service to students and alumni in not only training but also knowledge, professional development, networking, benefits and discounts. So today here we are to talk about the attitude of entrepreneurs before the challenges, how to manage them in a positive way. So this is the 4th session of this series, and today we will focus on giving good advice for those different situations that an entrepreneur is exposed to. And in order to talk about this, we have the presence today of Ignasi Tribó. Ignasi is Chief Operations Officer at My Poppins, a company that connects poppins, those are professional cleaners, with people who want to make more free time as well as they want a cleaner for the house. So before giving the word to Ignasi, I invite you to participate in the session and ask you to send questions through Twitter. I will be monitoring them. Please, I would ask you to use the hashtag EAE Conference with a hashtag. It is now appearing on your screens, I guess. And I will be monitoring these questions, and I will take advantage to give these questions to Ignasi after his introduction, okay? So, Ignasi, what do you have to talk to us about this attitude that an entrepreneur has to have when facing these challenges and maybe not planified situations?
Well, actually, maybe it sounds as a topic, but I strongly believe that it's the clue. But first, I would like to tell you that I'm in the ecosystem of entrepreneurs as an accident. I wasn't born thinking, oh, I want to be an entrepreneur. I started my business degree. After my business degree, I worked 10 years at PwC, first as an auditor, then as a consultant. Then I studied my MBA. Then I moved to an industrial company, and I was doing my standard career. But before starting the MBA, some friends started to create a project that is called LVP. It's a video game sector, and it's about doing a league with video games, more specific called EAE Sports. They didn't know how to raise money, and just as always, they start to think who may help me, and they found me, and they gave me the opportunity to help them to raise money. At that time, I was working at PwC, and I was thinking, okay, I'm a manager already at PwC, I'm giving advice to a lot of companies, but why they are trusting me? Because is Ignasi who's saying that, or is PwC, or it's because I'm capable to copy and paste what the client has said to me? So I thought that would be a way to challenge myself. And actually, I was quite surprised because I was capable to raise over 400K of euros. And we started the project. That was 2009. And my role there was always secondary. I wasn't in the day-to-day work. And the problem was that that project was too new for Spain, and the crisis came. So every single thing that you think that it might happen, it happened. We didn't have enough money to pay salaries. We didn't raise the money from sponsors. We got argues with our shareholders. Every single year, instead of being capable to have some cash back, I was supposed to give more money back. And also it had to be, we asked for a loan, and I had to be myself as a warranty to pay. And sometimes we didn't be able to pay, so the bank was calling me, asking me for the credit. So that's the atmosphere that we had in that project. And several times we were thinking about, should be better to close the business or what? But every single time that we thought that was the last moment that, okay, we are not going to be able to do anything else, at that moment, we looked at each other and we saw, we were the best ones in each area being able to do that. And we had a purpose, we had a project, we had a goal. And we knew that time was going in favor because maybe it was too new for Spain, but if you took all the statistics that Spain was at that time between the 5th and the 7th consumer of video games in the world, and all the countries above had already video games league going on, well, means that someone will arrive here. So maybe we were too earlier, but we need to resist because time was in our favor. So some of the entrepreneurs sold their car, sold their parking spot, asked money to friends, and we start putting money on the table. And we got a business angel that helped us a lot, and he was turned to a CEO of the company, not only putting the money, also doing the management. And we started 2009 until 2011-12. We didn't start to see that the KPIs were going good, that the business model, it worked. Because the thing is that, like in normal traditional sports, for example, NBA has its own rules in the States, but here in Spain, the basketball league has different rules. And maybe here the soccer works pretty well, but soccer in Canada is not working as well. With the video games, happens the same. You have League of Legends, Call of Duty, FIFA, you have several games that not only works better or not in other countries, also the rules and the way to do the league are different. So we've been testing, and in 2011, 2012, after burning more than 1 million euros, nearly 1.5, we started to find that those KPIs were right and the metrics were going rocket. At that moment, we realized that we need the Series A. So we started to think, okay, we have a problem. We are not a case that can go to a forum because we are not a best practice. We have all the problems of the world. We are more than 6 partners. We have loans. We have a lot of budgets that we didn't did. So everything was against us. So fortunately, when I was working at PwC, one of my clients was MediaPro. Maybe some of you know them. Is the owners of the rights of the Spanish League, of the Champions League, Rouras. Maybe you know from Rouras. And because they were my client when I was at PwC, and I wasn't working anymore at PwC, I called them to the CFO, and the CFO. Well, we went to lunch, which we explained him the project. They were pretty interested, and they got into the project. They put it 2.5 million euros, and 50% of the company nowadays is from them. This company now is settled already in Spain, being the leader. Has started this year competitions in UK, in Mexico, in Argentina, and in Colombia, and we are more than 100 employees. And I think that the attitude was the only way to raise the project. And now, since February, I'm not a founder, but I'm one of the first employees. I'm working at My Poppins. It's a marketplace that I arrived there last February. We were about 7-8 employees. We were in 15 or 17 cities in Spain, but we thought that it didn't make sense because it's a marketplace that need to put together pop-ins with houses. So it's a business model is about being in big cities that has offered, demand, and very good public transport, because you need the pop-ins to be able to go from one house to another house with less of 30 minutes. Because what we offer to the user is that we are capable to put someone in your house to clean in less of 5 hours. So must be big cities. It makes sense to be in Salamanca, in Malaga. It didn't make sense. So one of the first things that I did when I was there was to shut about 14 cities, and now we are only in Barcelona and in Madrid, actively pushing hard, and the metrics are giving us the answer that this is the business model. We keep Zaragoza and Valencia as a reactive market, and now we have already commitments of about 700, 800 euros, and we are trying to do 1.5 millions of euros of a round. And we are starting to settle a company in Ciudad de Mexico. And that's only in 9 months. And the same thing, attitude, the positive attitude, because we were a team that we didn't know each other at all. So we had to start to know how to work together, how to deal with our conflicts, because of course we have conflicts because we are not used to work together, but trying to push each other and give them the empowerment and engagement to the project, to each area. And hopefully before Christmas we're gonna do the first service in Mexico. So I guess that's well, actually it was my philosophy, and to have works a job that it challenges you, and also that you have fun.
Mm-hmm. Okay, I have some questions already
from
people, so
perfect.
If you are comfortable with this, I'm
Sure.
going to be launching them to you.
Sure.
I'm going to extend or elaborate in another direction. Feel free to do so. There's a very interesting question here. They ask us, so you are a senior entrepreneur, meaning that you came from the corporate world and then you move into the entrepreneurs, but you are not a young guy. That's what they say. It's
No,
not me.
sorry.
Okay.
No.
So,
I'm married, I have 2 kids, and I have a mortgage, and yeah.
So they're asking, which is, I mean, is that the way to do this, or it is better to be a young one? What's the pros and cons of a senior entrepreneur versus a junior one? You know what I mean?
Yes. That's the big dilemma, because the best thing, and I think that's a better question for an investor than entrepreneur, because they're going to invest to a person that has the best of both worlds, because they want a young person, because that young person is supposed to have a lot of energy, can take risks, don't have any back with kids, families, don't have roots, is more capable supposed to be more positive, being more, can move around the world easier. So these soft skills, they prefer it from a young person. That is typical from a young person. But at the same time, a person that has already, the company that I work after PwC, I was in charge of the back office, and that was a company that their revenue was 25 million euros, was 500 employees. So I had the experience and the manage of problems and dealing teams and dealing with banks and dealing with parties. So with that experience, also the investors really appreciate. So I would say that the perfect thing is that the team that is leading the project, not only one person, because I strongly believe that one single person can go fast, but not can go far. So if there is only one person, it's impossible. If it's a team, and at the video games case, we were a bunch of kids of 26, 27, 28 when we started, and we had the opportunity to put a person that he used to be the general manager for Spain and Portugal of a human resources consultancy called Mercer Consulting, and he quit and he wanted to work as a business angel, and he was our manager. So we had that mix. And here in the company that we are running now, the CEO, my boss, is only 29 years old, and he has this energy. But the CTO, he's 34, 35, something like that. I'm 37 with this experience. So when we are presenting the project to the investors, there is the chapter that always says that you're going to earn a lot of money, that we're going to do a lot of revenues, but this part, you're supposed to give it, but they don't really, in this stage, they don't really care. What they really care is about the idea, what you've done already, and the team. So we present our team, and they see that the mix, and and it's a way that we sell the project, and the investors are trusting that, okay, here's a guy called Aleix that is running the business, the idea, is brave enough and crazy enough to go and try to open Mexico, but behind him there is a CTO that is a founder already, that he has experience, that he worked in Shanghai, he worked in Amsterdam, he has run a lot of teams, he has the experience already, and Ignacy that is doing the operations that also has some experience, and we can balance, and so I believe that the team of the project is impossible to be one person. I don't know if I answered, but.
So 27 is the young, 37 is the old. You don't consider 48, right? Thank you for this, Ignacy. So looking backwards at your experiences, who do you think is a better teacher or a better professor? Bad experiences or good experiences?
Difficult, because the problem of a good experience is that you can have a wrong lesson, because if I start to yell to you now, get out of the room, you're gonna do it, all of you, but not because I have the authority, it's because you said so, and you're gonna trust me once, not twice. So maybe I think that I got the gold, but it wasn't the mechanism. And I thought, so I start to repeat that pattern. But when you fail, and if you are honest to yourself, you need to realize what are your weaknesses and how to reconduct those weaknesses. And in the project that I am right now, my problem is that I'm the less digital of the team, and one of our values is digital, and our market is digital. So to be just aligned with the company, with the team, I need to push myself. You need to have more personality and more ego to accept that fail, but I strongly believe that you learn much more with a fail.
So getting back to this point, so you somehow break the point that you need to be an engineer to be an entrepreneur, because you are not an IT engineer.
No, I studied a business degree and I did an MBA, so I'm not an engineer at all. And at the project of video games, weren't any engineer at the team, and we were 6, and 3 of them didn't finish their university's degrees. So it's not a question of what studies do you have. It's a question of what skills and what knowledge you have of that sector, or that technology, or that product that you're selling. And the video games case, okay, they didn't finish their career, they studied university degrees, but they were the best ones in video games in Spain. And some companies were calling them to ask them to try the video games, to have some advice about the video games, and they were doing some every day. They were guessing which were the games that were going to work better in the market, and they were always success on that. And now, our CTO, actually, he hasn't any engineering degree, but he learned how to do some code, and he's the best one on that. And we are studying technology. So it's not a question of the studies, it's a question of if you know that product, that sector, the thing that you are selling.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And if you could move the time backwards, which is something that I guess you are not able to do, what would you do different in your career as an entrepreneur? You had the opportunity to think twice.
Mm-hmm. If I'm to be honest, until maybe 3 years ago, I would say that I wouldn't start the video games story and anything, because until I didn't see the end of the tunnel, was something that I had to pay every single year money to help to pay salaries. I had to work weekends, nights for free to help to settle the business. So during that time, I thought that I was doing something wrong. So until 2 or 3 years ago that I realized that project succeeded and how I felt doing that, and starting to help other projects, because apart from these projects, sometimes sometimes I help some companies that are starting as an advisor, and helping people to improve their projects or start their business, on how to settle those first steps. I'm having a lot of fun, and because, to be honest, I did some cash out from the company of video games, I have the position to push myself that I will only accept a job if it's a challenge and I have fun. So right now I said no changes, but been like 7 or 8 years later.
Mm-hmm. With the whole picture, now
Mm-hmm.
it's easier to make decisions, right?
Yes.
Okay. And talking about money, you have mentioned now
Mm-hmm.
money.
Mm-hmm.
Let's assume that you have to write now a book, okay, which is how to make your first million. How would be the summary of that book, so our students and our people who is watching us will learn how to begin to do this?
I don't have the clue. I'm sorry, but I am not giving any tip on that. Okay, I'm working in the entrepreneurial world, but I feel myself and I describe myself as conservative. And while I was working at PwC, and I started this business of video games, and I did my MBA working at PwC and trying to launch a business, I always was saying the same. Who is paying my mortgage is PwC. After PwC was another company called the Pisa that was the one that was paying my mortgage. And so I'm not one of those crazy guys that is capable to just jump out of the window and do everything. No, I'm a normal guy, maybe as most of you, has family, has kids, and kids don't eat just from the air. You need money to pay them the food. So I'm not that risky guy that maybe you may think that, oh, because he's in different projects, blah, 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 he's a risky guy. No, I'm just a normal guy that did it because I didn't have the money. I did it in my extra time, and while people was going out of weekends or was changing their car, I didn't change my car. I put the money in a company. I work an extra hours on that. And working is the only way that I learned how to raise money and raise a project. I don't have any lottery, or I'm not smarter than anyone, and I'm a normal guy.
How did you get your first loan? They're asking us which is the attitude you have to show when you go to ask for the first time in front of an investor?
Well, actually, we did. First thing that we did is the team, the entrepreneurs team, were putting money on the project, and then we asked for a little loan in a bank, and I was with my salary of PwC. I was doing the warranty, and we got an ICO. So that was a
loan from the government.
Yeah, that was the same. And then when we asked the money for first time for investor, because it was a PowerPoint, it's one of those projects that we didn't have enough money just to create a tab and start to sell it. It was more giving the idea, giving the philosophy, and ask to bet for the team and for the project. Team and project were the main things, because we didn't have any product, we didn't have anything, because it was to settle a leak. So you need participants, so what we did is we took the investor with us, with our car. We went to Zaragoza, we went to Madrid, we went to other places that were doing some matches on video games, and tell them that that was the future, and showing that at that time already, the Korean league, the winner of the league was earning $1 million, and showing that the statistics were saying that Spain was the next one, and that was the opportunity. We were the team, and it was the opportunity. But it's trust, and trust. It's nothing much.
And is now a good moment to raise money here? Is now there's a good momentum for entrepreneurship?
Barcelona? Yes, completely. I would say until 1 million euros, until Series A is, between commas, take it easy.
Can you explain for our attendants what means Series A?
Series A is around that at least you are raising about 1.5 million euros. Before that, you have seeds of the famous 3Fs that maybe you know them. And from 3Fs and seeds capital, little business angels, stuff like that, there are a lot of forums, a lot of ways to raise. And that's something that has increased a lot since 2009, that when we started. That wasn't any forum going on. Now there are a lot of accelerators, programs. So those first monies is relatively easy. If you have the project, you have the metrics, you have the team. After that, it's another scene. After that, it's quite difficult, because investors, the commitment that you have with them, it's for 3-5 years. You cannot get out of the company. There are a lot of commitments on that.
So you agree with the idea that in Barcelona there's an ecosystem for entrepreneurs, which
For
is
sure.
helping them?
Actually, my Poppins is settled at Tech City Pier 01. That is a co-working of tech startups, and from over there is started Hola Luz, Hola Pop, I know, Corner Job. All of these businesses are the same building as us.
Okay.
So,
you have mentioned metrics many times.
yes.
Okay? So I have a tricky question, which is what is more important, metrics or attitude? And then regarding metrics, which are the key metrics that an entrepreneur has to have in their mind?
Attitude to metrics.
Maybe you can measure attitude with a KPI.
Maybe, but the attitude is the once you've been introduced to a venture capital or investor, or to a client or supplier, because you don't have a track record, you need to give that trust. So that's the only thing that you can give that is with attitude. If they feel like you're just playing or you're a person that you can trust on, or so that point it's because you need the first opportunity, and that first opportunity you're only going to get it with the attitude. But second later, you need the metrics, because it's normal. People are giving you money, the supplier is selling you a product, your client is giving you money, so everyone wants the value back. So and because in the first years you are not going to earn money, the way that you're going to do it is with metrics. So our investors at My Poppins are happy because, okay, we're not doing profit yet, but every single month we are increasing in double digit the gross market. That means that in February, our top day was doing about 100 services in one day. That means going to one house to clean. That the top day was 100 houses. Now, a normal day is 180, 190, and we have some days of 250. So they realize that, okay, and they see that it makes sense to shut some cities. The storytelling that we are giving makes sense. The way that we're introducing the project to Mexico is understandable. And we have landed first MVP. So all the metrics that are helping to the project and make sense and give back the trust.
And this internationalization that you have done has always sense. I mean, would you recommend to do city by city or country by country? Because I can imagine that the business model maybe differs a little bit. I don't know,
yes,
maybe
yes,
in
yes.
Spain you have people on
it's
your
completely different. For example,
payroll. In Mexico they are freelancers or whatever.
Yeah. In each project is completely different. At video games, our need was to go all around Spain.
International from the beginning.
No, all around Spain.
Okay.
In the beginning, in the video games project.
Okay.
And once we are the leaders in Spain, and we had a lot of streaming from Latin America, then we started to do a league, because you need to do a project there with the video games, with the rules, with the clubs, with everything. But so over there is more a project of countries. But now My Poppins is not a project by countries, it's a project of cities. No? I give always the same example. In the United States, Los Angeles, for me is not a target. Because, as I said before, okay, maybe I have the clients and I have the suppliers, but I don't have a nice public transport. What I prefer is to be in New York City, because all the people are together, good public transport. So it's not a country business, it's a city business. And we are talking about Mexico, about the city of Mexico. And in some areas, in Spain, we are thinking about Barcelona and Madrid. So that's also our strategy, because it's not a. So each project, you need to realize if it's what's better or what's in your way to grow. If it's countries, cities, being a lot of small cities, only online and offline. In each project, you need to identify what's more important.
And the key metrics is number of services, or do you have another metric that is somehow monitoring your business?
Metric and the percentage of the revenue that we get from the gross market. Gross market is the rate that the user is paying for the service, and our commission. So this percentage of this is another important metric for all the marketplaces.
Okay, and repetition of services or anything like this?
Go after that, because the repetition is very, very important also, because I always give the same example. It's like in a restaurant. It's very difficult to start a month without knowing who is going to come for lunch or for dinner. So you need to buy a lot of things. But once you get, you know, all your clients, what they need, what they want, then I have the pop-ins already prepared on that. Our schedule is 15 days long. So I have settled already today visits in 2 weeks.
Okay, as an entrepreneur and as a manager, how do you manage fear? I mean, because fear, I can imagine about a huge list of fears, okay? What about, I mean, business fears? What about if my client goes and contacts my pop-ins without me? That's fear, right? What about if I'm not the first one having this fantastic idea? What about somebody of the audience copies my idea just when they leave the room? I mean, how do you manage these fears?
The same, and something that I learned in the video games project, because it was a lot of years of failing, and we used to say there is no a good decision or a bad decision. There is a decision that lets you sleep. So that's my philosophy. Maybe I will be able to sell the company for a better price, but I know that also for a lower price. I don't know if I'm giving too much details of my projects or not, but what I'm sure is that I'm doing something that once I arrive at home with my kids and my wife, I feel comfortable with myself and I can sleep all night long.
What about any type of mitigation? Because our students in the entrepreneurship masters, they at the beginning they have a lot of fear about sharing their ideas, right? Because they say, no, that's my secret idea, that's the Coca-Cola formula. And we keep on telling them that that's not exactly like this.
No.
An idea is important, extremely important, yes. But how you implement this and the team that you create, that's even more important.
Yeah,
Do you agree with this?
Completely. As I said, I'm advisor. Sometimes I'm advisor from some project and in some universities, and I've seen projects that they were doing profits already since the beginning. They had a really nice product, but because the team discussed between them, well, everyone quit and the project didn't work. So, and it's impossible without sharing to know all the answers. And myself in the video games, and now with my pop-ins, we are telling nearly every single person that we know what we are doing, and people are telling us, don't go to Mexico, go to Milano, go to Berlin, don't do that, why are you doing this, do what your competitors are doing, no, do the opposite of what the competitors are doing, and from all those inputs, it helps us to create your own storytelling. So I would say, don't be afraid if someone tries to steal idea, means that that person is not trustable. So if he or she is trying to settle this business, we don't have any team with him or her. So, and nobody is going to trust her or him. So I wouldn't be afraid, because you need to share. It's impossible to know every single thing. You need to tell your weaknesses and listen, and then to understand that those are advices, but you are responsible of your actions. It's not a question of saying, because this teacher, that friend, or that boss told me to do that, I will do it. No. Those are family and friends also. It's important, actually in my case, my family, my friends, because they know me better than myself. So I always explain what I'm doing, what I'm thinking, and when I see them, then yes, you can do it, you can go ahead. Then I feel comfortable enough to do it.
Then it's time to ask them for money, right? Okay. So, by the way, were you the first ones in doing this idea in the Spanish market? I mean,
Video games, yes.
No, in My Poppins?
My Poppins, no, but because we are doing things different and with better technology, right now we are the same size of our competitors with less than a year of them.
Mm-hmm. So in only 1 year, you have reached the level that they had before you were in the market.
Mhm.
Okay. By the way, we have many questions here, but I would like to open the questions to our physical audience. So if any of you have a question, please raise your hand.
Yes, I have one. And when talking about challenges you have in entrepreneurship, talking about your new business of puppies, sorry.
Mhm.
How did you confront this challenge in changing? I don't know, maybe it's something cultural or maybe something like natural of people. But when talking about trusting someone come to your house, for cleaning, for doing any reparation,
Mhm.
you're always like having this barrier in contact because you think, I don't know if I can trust this app, I don't know if I can trust the person that is coming
Mhm.
to my house to clean. How did you challenge and confronted this? I don't know, it's a fear maybe you had before doing the
Mhm.
project, or it's something you have found like
Ri-
the way?
Right now it's pretty solved because you get into our website, you ask, I want someone to clean my house tomorrow at 10. And then it appears all the poppins that are available at that moment. And you can see the rate that they have, and about a maximum is 5 points. The average is in 4.5 points. And you can see all the comments and all the ratings of the people that done before and the hours that they have cleaned through our platform. So you can choose person A that has cleaned 400 hours in our platform and has a rate of 4.7. So right now we have it solved it like that, and it's helping us a lot, and we are the only ones in the market that has this solution. Before that, friends, family, and fools start to tell people, please trust us, use us, please, if you like it, say it in Twitter, say it in Facebook, influencers, some AdWords, please test us. Always in every single technology or project or product, there are the early adopters. Try to identify them, test them, try to do interviews with them. In our website, our blogs, we were interviewing poppins, where we're interviewing users to give transparency, and we also interview the employees every single month. An employee is interviewed, so people can know who is behind the scene. So it's a job that we have done every day, giving transparency.
Is there, yeah?
I would like to ask about the market opportunity in the sense you were like just in your daily routine and you were searching on the web and you say, oh, look here, there is this market opportunity and I can get through. What was the idea behind, or you just saw the addiction probably just how did you get
That's why I was saying at the beginning that I'm not a normal entrepreneur, because I'm not one of those guys that go through the street saying, oh, I have seen a business, oh, here's the opportunity. No, I'm not one of those. I'm a person that is good helping those ideas to turn into a project. So in the video games thing was some of the colleagues that were playing and they were doing some competitions and they were going to go abroad, they were going to France to play, so they knew that was going on. And in this case of My Poppins, two of the founders, one was working in a venture capital, so he was capable to see a lot of projects going on. And then another person that was his family has a traditional cleaning company. So those two started to think that was an opportunity. Yeah, and after nearly a year, 10 months later of that, we met, and I thought that the project was very interesting, and I won't feel like going out of my comfort zone and just jumped to the project.
So you are one of those people who sees the good idea, good project, and
Wow.
says, yeah, this is gonna work. I'm gonna go with it, or I'm gonna help you out with this.
Maybe it's I don't know. Yeah, it worked like that in those two cases. Doesn't mean that it's going to be always like that. But
in your advisory work, that's what you see, right? You
yes,
see the idea that's going to work, actually, if they are working on their advantages and disadvantages.
yes. What I do as an advisor is talk to them to tell. They need to tell me their strategy, their business plan, how they're gonna do it, and then I just do as was an advisor at PwC. I'm doing the same, asking a lot why, just answering or requesting questions that they have said before, or just saying that, okay, if you're saying white, means that it's not black. Are you agree on that? So put them on that trouble. It's helping them, and sometimes and maybe I'm wrong, but after at the end of the day, I said, okay, if I was you, but that's an advice, but you are responsible for your actions. Don't go through that way or do it that way, but that doesn't mean that I'm the one that they need to trust. But fortunately, most of the times, and somehow, they think that I'm right, and they keep calling me or asking me, or they ask. So.
I have another one. Sorry.
How can you balance the fact to have a structure and discipline without blocking innovation and getting freedom at the same time?
Oof, that's difficult too, because for example, what we've done at my Poppins was that we are working in a co-working, and every single line of tables are a company, and we have just rent 2 lines. But we realized that the bosses, we were just on one side and the rest on the other side, and that was like a wall there. So we have decided that hotspot for every single one. So from the CEO to the student that is helping us, nobody has a chair. And we have Tuesday is a special day that everyone has to choose a place that normally don't sit. So, and it's trying to help this environment of giving innovation, giving ideas. And in my teams, they always listen to me saying that I'm not getting mad, never get mad when someone failed. I always get mad for attitude. If you could do it better than that, I'm gonna get mad. If you failed, everyone. I'm the first one doing 27 mistakes every single day. So don't blame on anyone because they've done a mistake. Blame for the attitude.
Okay, I would like to refer again to the KPS question. Do you think that, of course, when you're going to plan a business, you have to settle some KPIs in order to settle boundaries and, like, I don't know, to make a square of the game field? But do you think that making so many KPIs or like boundaries before letting the business roll is reducing like creativity, is reducing like again the game field, like
No, because you can change them. If makes sense, don't change it every single day. But in some steps of the project, in some phases of the projects, your KPIs and once, and after a few months, that in a normal company it's years after, but in a startup it's a difference of months, you change your KPIs if they make sense. So if you are looking to know if the product is working or not, it's one KPI. If you are looking if it's the scalability of the project, you're going to have other KPIs. If you believe that your KPI is satisfaction of the client because you want repetition, then you need the rating of the poppins, because that means that clients are happy with them. So every single time you have several KPIs, and always in different levels. The management team, maybe we have maybe 10 KPIs, but in my team we have like 25, 30, 40, and some we have split it in several single graphics or KPIs. So it's depending on what you're looking, the purpose and the phase of the project. More questions?
No more questions? So I assume that it's very different to be on your own startup, like you were at the beginning, and then it changed a lot when you move into the corporate world, let's say, despite the fact that you were still a startup, but Media Pro, which is a huge company, was there. So can you describe both scenarios and tell us the good things about one and the other one? So can we make a kind of comparison between both?
It's a difficult relation because neither them or us has experience on that. So, but for us, what is good from Media Pro is that it's giving us more discipline. It's giving all the knowledge and expertise of fields that we don't have money for that. They have a lawyer department, human resources department, finance department, and they're great, and their skills and their value, we were able to pay them. And also because when we are selling the projects to sponsors to see that there is a stamp at the end of Media Pro, give more trust again. So that are the good things. What is difficult is when we start to talk about how to run the business, because we feel like we know how to run the business and we know how to do it, and it's normal. Sometimes they agree with us and sometimes don't. But when they don't agree with us, because they are 100 times bigger than us and they had 100 times more success than us, they feel like, okay, you're gonna trust me because, of course, I'm Media Pro, so it's easy to make us change. But we haven't gone all that way just to trust them. Sometimes, well, we don't agree with them and we do it in a different way. And that push, it's when it's difficult. When in the business things, we think different. And that point, it's the balance and the relation is when it's hard.
And how, you have said many times that attitude is the most important KPI, let's say, or metric. How do you manage to get this talent out of the market? I mean, how you measure these type of attitudes in the people that you want to join the company? So how do you filter? How do you recruiting based on these metrics?
Actually, we are quite lucky because one of the first investors at our project of My Poppins, he's a coach. So every single position that is key in the company, we are following his methodology, and we do. The first thing that we do is we put an advertisement in LinkedIn or whatever. Someone that is not in the business, our lead investor or this coach is selecting the CVs that feels like are going to work good on that position. And then we take out all the information of that person. we do a test, more like a psychologist test to see the profile, if the way that that person thinks or says or believes we can go on with our culture. I correct those exams, and I don't know if it's a woman or a man, if it's experience, no experience, I don't know anything, I just only see the exam. Then, the ones that have passed that exam, they do a second exam, more in a business thing, and the same way. I don't get in touch with anyone, any candidate, they do it for me, and then I see the results, and once again, we correct them. And we are always correcting those exams, 2 or 3 people different, and then we share the results. And then this coach is doing an interview, and then is that person, the CEO or myself, we interview that person. So I don't know if I have answered your question about how we find the attitude, but that's the way that we do it, and until now it's working pretty well. Not thinking about, I have a friend that told me this is a good person, or this is the CV that looks so sexy. Oh no, because this person is working from that company. No, I just see facts until the end that I do an interview.
How did you gain the loyalty of the employees or the people who go to clean the houses? Because they could just go for the first time to the house, then they can call them directly.
Yeah, for sure. And
That's one fear.
Yeah, that's one fear, and that's a question that our investors are always asking us, because it's one of the weaknesses of the model. But because we know that, one of our values is poppins first. That means that we need to understand that user is not our end of the story, it's the poppins. So we are working hard to help them to have houses whenever they want, because we don't punish them if they don't accept a job. They're our collaborators, and they can choose whenever they want to work, any house that they want to work. We got an agreement for them to have an extra medical private insurance for them, because we are economies of scales. We got a nice arrangement with Fiat, and they're capable to get to a private doctor. So we are working hard on that, and gamification, and giving prices, and working a lot, because this is a relation of two, the house and the poppins. And we need one of those to say no. And we strongly believe that our main mission is the poppins. So we need to give value to the poppins, that if anyone is offering that to that person, she will say no.
So we are about to reach our time. If you have to make a summary and give an advice to all the audience that is listening to us that have the idea to become an entrepreneur, which would be, I'm not asking you for a decalogue, but at least for the 3 main advices or recommendations or lessons learned. So the 3 top to say, okay, follow these, and this, and that would be my recommendation if you have to make a summary.
I will say it, as I said before, there's no good decisions or bad decisions, are the ones that are letting you sleep. So if you feel like you're going to sleep thinking, oh, I want to do entrepreneur, and I'm not doing it, means that you must at least try it. Then also be aware about the risks. Don't be crazy. Try to do it with some balance. And then if you have family, ask your family. Your couple is the person that's going to be behind you, and you're gonna need that trust. because it's going to be difficult times and you need the trust of the person that is behind you or next to you. So I would say those three.
Okay. Is there any further question? No? We have also answered all the questions of our audience on the internet. So now I think it's time to ask for a big applause to Ignacy, please. So thank you, Ignacy. Thank you very much, and thank you very much for your participation, guys, and for your participation, our audience from all over the world. And in a few days, we'll send you an email with a link so you can see the session again and keep on learning about what Ignacy has shared with us today. Thank you very much and good afternoon.